Yo, what's going on, fellas? Glad to say we're back with another reaction video. So, first off, I'm gonna say this early for anybody that wants to join the sub Discord, one of the best Boruto Discord servers in the community. I've opened it up for another 24 hours, so by the time this video drops, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Discord server. So you guys have about 24 hours to join. Go down below in the description, you're gonna see a link that leads you to the Discord server. Join it, and yeah, just chill out, chat a little bit, and that's it. But let's not waste no time. The story is about to take a massive turn with one of the biggest events that we're gonna see in Boruto TBV VORTEX, and that is Kawaki getting his limiters off. The first step for Kawaki's true power to be realized. Now, if you've been wondering, how strong exactly will Kawaki be when he gets his limiters off? Just stay tuned, we're gonna react to this video, and I'm gonna break it down as well, give my thoughts and opinions on it, and what better way to do that than a reaction with you guys. So, like I said before, go ahead and show my boy TF Anime some love. One of the guys you guys recommended me to watch, so he's on the list now. As you can see right here, I'm subscribed to him. So real quick, just so I can expand my content creator list, go ahead and drop some low-key. Don't give me any popular Boruto content creators that I already know and you see me react to on my channel. Some low-key guys that haven't really gotten their name out there. Put those guys in the comment section so I can react to them, or at least add them to the list. But yeah, go show some love to TF Anime. He's at 1.93k subscribers. Let's see if we can help him get to 2,000 subscribers, man. 2,000. Like I said before, by showing him love, that's basically the same thing as showing me love. So when y'all subscribe to other people that I recommend y'all to, that's basically like supporting me, because I support them. You see what I mean? But anyway, let's just hop into the video. Let's waste no time. I'm also gonna leave the link to his channel down below in the description, and I'm gonna put it in the top right hand corner. So hopefully I'm pointing towards the top right. But yeah, let's get into the video.
Now, trolling aside, in this video, I want to discuss exactly how strong Kawaki will be after Amado changes his limiters to be more focused towards his attacking potency. But before we get into that, as always, if you do go on to enjoy this video, then please consider liking, as it helps this video get pushed out to more and more people. And if you want to support the channel and see more content like this, then subscribing is the best way of killing two birds with one stone. Anyways, with that said, let's get into this video. So according to Amado, Kawaki had been adjusted to where his attacking potency was significantly reduced, but in doing so, Amado described it like making Kawaki all but immortal. Now, I don't know about you, but in my eyes, if you can make someone borderline immortal, I dread to see what happens when all of this is instead funneled into his attacking power.
Yeah, and the thing many people don't understand is Amado taking all of his, well, let me say it like this. A lot of people don't like the fact that Amado is taking from his defense, well, a lot from his defense to put it on his offense. First of all, his defensive capabilities was raised above the max. And to do that, you're obviously going to have to take from his offensive capabilities a lot more. But that's not really the point I was trying to get into. Either way, taking all his defense and putting it into his offense, or just leaving him the same way with defense that makes him damn near immortal, Kawaki can die either way. Now, when he was fighting JURA, of course he was getting the snot beat out of him. He was getting destroyed. At that moment, it doesn't matter how much defense you have. If you can't physically harm your enemy, it doesn't matter how much defense you have. Although defense is just as important as offense, maybe even a little more important, it doesn't matter if your offense is so bad, you just can't fight back. Now, the opposite is true as well. So if his offensive capabilities is to the max, if he does get hit by a crazy attack, it can kill him on the spot. But the odds of him winning the fight actually go up, more than the odds of him just playing defense. And cool, let's say the SHINJU can't kill Kawaki because his defense is just too high. If you can't help Boruto defeat the SHINJU, guess what? The planet's gonna go bye-bye. It doesn't matter anyway. Either Kawaki gets devoured, or he can't help Boruto defeat the SHINJU, which leads to the end of the planet. So you're better off just trying to go crazy on your offense to be able to kill the SHINJU way easier. You have to just take that chance. So I don't understand the people that think Kawaki having hella defense was a better option than offense. Either way, everything can go wrong, but at least if you have the offense, you have a fighting chance. I suspect his defense won't be completely gone either, because even when Amado raised his defense above the max, he still has some pretty decent offense. At bare minimum, he was able to damage one of the claw grinds. So even if he has crazy offense, his defense will still be there. It's just gonna be extremely low. And honestly, that's completely fine to me. It's fine if Kawaki's not a tank, because if you're just out here one-shotting opponents, it's not gonna matter anyway.
Amado's goal obviously is to keep Kawaki alive at all costs, so Kawaki can eventually revive his daughter Akabe, which to me is still pretty suspicious because why would he not get Kawaki to just do that now? The only option I see is Kawaki refuses to give up his karma while Boruto, Code and the Shinju are all out there, with Kawaki knowing that he relies heavily on his karma for his attacking potency. So I presume Kawaki and Amado have an agreement like they have discussed in this chapter that we just had, where once Kawaki has dealt with everyone he deems a threat, he will then implant the karma onto Amado's daughter. But I'm going to do an entire video on why Amado is still very suspicious despite him having an explanation behind most of the things he does. So let me know if that's something you want me to go more deeply into in the comments down below.
People are going to have their suspicions about Amado no matter what he does. He could be as transparent as possible with his motives, and he has been. You guys know what his motives is. All he wants to do is resurrect his daughter. He hasn't really shown us any type of other motives besides that, but it's the mere fact that he possesses Shibai cells. Just that fact alone is going to keep him in suspicion, because with these Shibai cells, he's able to make cyborgs that are able to do God's work. Basically, with any luck, he can make a cyborg that's capable of surpassing even the strongest of characters in the series. Just off that fact alone, that's going to make him one of the most dangerous characters in the show, even if his motives are genuine. That's just how it is.
Anyways, getting back to Kawaki, granting someone with the defensive and regenerative abilities to make them borderline immortal is possibly the greatest feat we have seen from any character thus far. The only problem we have is the scale of what we have seen with Kawaki. Kawaki briefly fought JURA, he briefly fought Boruto, and he briefly fought Damon in part 1. Notice how I say briefly
all
fought
else.
The fights never really lasted further than a couple of punches. Yes, he did end up losing these, and we know that this is because he had next to no power in his attacks due to Amado's tampering. But at the same time, he wasn't damaged seemingly at all from any of this, which goes back to the idea that he is supposed to be immortal. Now, you could argue that none of these people were actually trying to kill Kawaki, and technically speaking, you would be correct in saying that. Compared to what JURA hit Boruto with, the punch Kawaki got hit was absolutely nothing. But we also have to consider the fact that Kawaki, after temporarily being knocked out, was perfectly fine after all of this. And for reference, Kawaki and Code were both hit by a very similar attack, but Code was not able to stand up and Kawaki was just getting started. Now again, you could argue Code was hit by another Hiko, but Boruto was trying to show Kawaki the disparity in terms of power between them two, to let Kawaki know.
Now Uzuhiko is a different story, because it negates all defensive properties. So I wouldn't necessarily use Uzuhiko as an example, because no matter who gets hit with that attack, I don't think they're surviving. And if they do survive the initial attack, which most people will, especially if you're one of the stronger characters, but it's the lingering effects that can kill you over time. That's why I said it negates all type of regenerative abilities. So either way you look at it, there are attacks out there that can negate all Kawaki's defensive properties. Another reason why it's better just to have a lot of offense.
And subsequently, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibilities that Kawaki and Code received a similar level of power from Boruto's attack, which would show directly how insane Kawaki's defensive powers are. And Kawaki wasn't even using his karma at the point of being hit by Boruto. Also, something which is unclear is the karma what is making Kawaki seemingly indestructible? Or is it just his base capabilities? Because I would assume that Amado altered Kawaki's karma in order to do this, rather than readily having the technology to make Kawaki that robust in his base. But in Amado's eyes, surely that isn't a foolproof way of keeping Kawaki safe, as he would heavily rely on Kawaki always going into his karma form in a battle. Otherwise, he runs the risk of Kawaki being killed. And there is still so many questions that I have about how this works.
And you don't have to worry about that, because Kawaki does not fight without his karma. He does not fight without his karma. Like I said many times before, he is a karma merchant. And now when Amado takes off Kawaki's limiters, he's gonna make him rely even more on the karma. Like, even though Kawaki's body is technically a scientific ninja tool, and you can modify his body and things like that, in base form, he's just simply not going to be strong enough to defeat the top tier characters in the verse. But that's not the case with his karma. Because I said multiple times in other videos, Kawaki in base is nothing. He's not going to be stronger than Boruto. It doesn't matter what you do. But when you activate his karma, he can instantly become the strongest character in the series, easily. Excluding Shibai, of course. I'm not talking about Shibai in any like power scaling conversations unless I'm talking about him directly. The problem isn't going to be Kawaki in base. It's when he activates that karma, things are going to get crazy. Just to clear that up, I don't know if anybody was confused about that or not, but the problem is going to be when he gets that karma activated.
And because Kawaki was such fodder in terms of the power he could utilize, the fights he was involved in were over too quickly to show the insane levels of defensive feats like he is said to have, which then makes transferring this into how strong he may be also very, very difficult. But I think we can instead take this from a narrative perspective on how strong Kawaki should be.
It's not doing him any good
in terms of the story. So as soon as Kawaki was introduced, there was
that defense is not doing anything.
Rivalry between him and Boruto, which directly paralleled that of Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry in both their ideologies and levels in power. And what I mean by this is throughout Naruto, the power dynamic between him and Sasuke was literally a constant shifting battle backwards and forwards. Sasuke started off stronger due to his innate talent and Naruto's lack of control over Kurama's powers. But once Naruto used Kurama's power, it was clear that he was stronger than Sasuke. And this back and forth continued when Naruto would show feats where he was clearly stronger than Sasuke and Sasuke would do the same, much like Boruto and Kawaki alike.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Kawaki and Boruto is literally the same as Sasuke and Naruto. It's like a mirror of each other. So first, boom, you're gonna have Sasuke who's gonna be stronger. Especially like, let's just start in Shippuden. We don't even have to look at part 1. Part 1 is obvious, but when you get into Shippuden, that's when I feel like the mirroring begins in a way. So obviously, Sasuke comes in, he's crazy strong, easily Kage level, right? And then you have Naruto who's barely even Jonin level. And I could say it really stayed like that until maybe halfway through Shippuden, around the Pain arc. And then the power scale started to shift into Naruto's favor. But then boom, Sasuke gets his EMS. Alright now, it's going back to Sasuke. And then during the war, I don't even want to say anything about the war, man. The war was crazy. You got Naruto, Sasuke, and then just Naruto, and then boom, they're both leveled. And I'm not about to sit here and get controversial about who was stronger during the final valley, if Naruto was a little stronger because he was holding back or whatever. Look, the direction Kishimoto was trying to go is to have them equal in power by the end of the series. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with Boruto and Kawaki, but that's literally how it's going to go. A lot of people did not like this when I said it, but Kawaki's about to surpass Boruto with no effort whatsoever. And it's going to piss a lot of people off, I know, because he ain't put in the work. He just had Amado tweak a little nuts and bolts in his body, boom, stronger than Boruto. All that training he did with Kashin, Koji, and Sasuke, Kawaki surpassed it just like that. But then, Boruto's gonna get another power-up, whether it be the Jogon, or just him powering up with his karma, getting better with it, whatever. He's going to get stronger than Kawaki. And then boom, Kawaki's gonna surpass him. It's gonna be a flip-flop until you get to that end, where maybe Kawaki could be a little bit more powerful, maybe Boruto could be, but they're both gonna be like relevant to each other. And I think from part 1, that's supposed to happen several years in the future, so we take into account this 3-year time skip, and it looks like we have about 4 more years to go until the ending of Two Blue Vortex. So that's 4 years of development. 4 years of development from both of them. They're gonna be way more powerful than they are now.
And then obviously you had the big finale in the Valley of the End in part 1, where Sasuke narrowly beat Naruto. Then in Shippuden it continued once again. Sasuke trained harder than Naruto, which meant he was able to be stronger than him out of the gates. Naruto then learned Sage Mode and overtook Sasuke, but don't quote me on that because I don't know the exact power scaling in that moment. But Sasuke then got his Mangekyo, which meant they were about even. Naruto learned KCM 1 and KCM 2, and then Sage Mode plus KCM 2, which then led him to be stronger than Sasuke, but then they both got the power of the 6-pass Sage Mode. And once again, a Valley of the End battle to show the final victor, but it ended up being even. This constant shifting in the power dynamic between these two, like I just described, was what kept us readers invested in the series. Obviously, the entire story was the main reason that most people were invested, but for me personally, never knowing who was actually stronger at a certain moment, or who was going to get the next power up to close that gap in power, or surpass the other one was really
that was a
hard to
big
watch.
part too.
And it's pretty obvious where I'm trying to go with this, as this is literally word for word, bar for bar, the exact same situation with Kawaki and Boruto. So let me break it down. When Kawaki was introduced, he was stronger than Boruto because of his proficiency with the Karma. Kawaki then went on to teach Boruto how to use his Karma properly, which then showed that Boruto had surpassed Kawaki, which was shown in their clash. Boruto then goes on to extend this lead with his Karma V2, but Kawaki then gained his own version and then surpassed Boruto. Then you had your almost Valley of the End style fight which paralleled Naruto and Sasuke. We had Karma V2 Kawaki versus BORUSHIKI, which ended up with Kawaki ultimately winning. We then go on to the time skip, and Boruto is clearly much stronger than Kawaki now. But now it's a time where we see Kawaki surpass Boruto once again. And the reason Boruto was so hesitant to provide
it's inevitable,
with
bro.
this information that Amado has placed limiters on Kawaki's attacking potency is because Kashin Koji likely would have made him aware that if Boruto is to tell Kawaki this, in the short term Kawaki will become stronger.
Yes, he told him that. Oh, I don't want to get into too much timeline talk, but Boruto knows Kawaki is about to surpass him. So we know at the bare minimum, once Kawaki gets his limiters off, he's going to be stronger than Boruto. I can almost guarantee that. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Don't hate on it. Don't stop reading Boruto because you want Boruto to be stronger throughout the whole thing. It's not going to happen. And I know some people that actually think like that, but it's not going to happen. The thing that makes this so bizarre is Boruto most likely knows he's going to have to fight Kawaki near the end of the series or whatever, or sometime in the future. Let's just say that. So by making him temporarily stronger than him, it's almost like hosting your own funeral. You know what I mean? But that's the price he's going to have to pay, because that's the only way he can actually get to that moment. So if he doesn't tell Kawaki, yo, go to Amado, he can make you stronger. He put limiters on you. If he doesn't tell Kawaki that, the planet doesn't survive that long for them to actually fight it out. So this is most likely the only option he has. So that means Boruto is just going to have to get stronger somehow. And they probably already planned for that. They probably already planned that through. Koji probably told Boruto, he said, look, after you tell Kawaki this, he's going to be more powerful than you. But don't fret, because I do have a plan which is going to make you even more powerful. But we're going to have to wait until a certain time for that to happen. So because of prescience, that means everything that Boruto does or Kashin Koji says to him is going to have a purpose behind it. They're not going to do anything for no reason. And of course, Boruto wouldn't come to Kawaki if he doesn't know that when Kawaki gets his limiters off, he'll be able to help him defeat the Shinju. So boom, off rip, we know when Kawaki gets his limiters off, he's gonna be stronger than Boruto. He's gonna be on par with the Shinju, capable of destroying them. Those two things we know already. So let's just keep watching.
And with Boruto being the main target of Kawaki, his life will be in danger despite what Kawaki assured Boruto of, dealing with the Shinju first. This moment where Kawaki gets his limiters removed or altered.
And yes, when I say Shinju, I'm including JURA too.
Used so heavily in Naruto of the shifting power dynamic between the two main characters. And with Kawaki and Boruto resembling Naruto and Sasuke's conflict so heavily, it's safe to assume that this will be another one of those moments where the power levels shift in one person's favor. So using this to gauge roughly where Kawaki is going to be in terms of power, he's almost certainly going to be stronger than current Boruto is. And also because I strongly believe that Kawaki will be going on the Sand Village mission to save the Konoha Strike Squad, who I think are currently just trying to stall until Kawaki gets there. Kawaki is going to be a level in between JURA and Boruto, or JURA and the Shinju, as I think that this mission will not only be the first showcase of Sarada's Mangekyo powers, but also how insanely busted Kawaki is without his limiters.
Man, just the fact that he's saying that, he doesn't believe when Kawaki gets his limiters removed, he'll surpass JURA. And if that's actually true that he doesn't surpass JURA, you gotta put some respect on his name. Like, JURA is insanely powerful. That just goes to show you how people around the community perceive JURA's strength. Like, we're seeing it firsthand. People think JURA is stronger than anything we ever seen in the series so far, dating back to Naruto. So Ten Tails Madara, Jubito, of course, you know, Kaguya, all those characters, JURA just surpasses all of them. I'm not saying it's a fact, but I'm just saying that's how people in the community perceive him to be. But I'm not even gonna lie, like right in between Boruto and JURA, that's a decent spot for Kawaki to be in terms of strength. Not stronger than him, but stronger than Boruto? Like right in the middle of them. Because we know there's a pretty wide gap between Boruto and JURA, and if Kawaki's right there in the middle somewhere, you know, if he teams up with Boruto, then their chances of winning rise significantly. They can probably do it. But just making Kawaki stronger than the strongest villain we ever seen, I don't think they'll do that. The narrative is they want Boruto and Kawaki to work together to defeat JURA. That's probably going to be the final battle. So yeah, you can't have Kawaki surpass him just yet.
And going a step further, I think Kawaki will be the one to defeat Ryu. And I also think that Kawaki will be the one to almost kill Matsuri, who will actually have already consumed Konohamaru by this point, and will manage to get away back to the Ten Tails realm to tell JURA about how insanely strong Kawaki has become. Or at least that's my prediction on how this mission will roughly go down. And I have already said that I'm going to do an entire video going slightly more in depth into the actual plan to successfully carry out that mission, so watch out for when that one gets released. Also, I think with Kawaki's limited removal, there is going to be a showing of Damon here, where we will see a little skirmish between Damon and Kawaki, and we will get to see for starters how strong Damon is post time skip, and also the fullest extent of Kawaki's power.
That's actually perfect. That's a perfect way to display Kawaki's new power. Boom, you have Kawaki get his limiters removed. Damon sees that as a challenge somehow, because right off the rip, when Code got his limiters removed, they had him fight against Damon, right? Of course, Code lost, but it was used as a way for the readers to gauge how strong Code gotten since he got his limiters removed. And the same thing could possibly happen to Kawaki. You know, it can, but this time, I don't think he should necessarily lose that fight. Or let's say if he does lose, he's gonna at least do way better than Code. Because Kawaki still has to find a way to get around that reflection Shinjutsu. No matter how powerful you are, that still is a hack. So I don't know. And even with his limiters removed, I don't think there's a way for him to necessarily get around that Shinjutsu as of right now. As of right now, anyway. But I still agree, having Kawaki just fight Damon to gauge his power, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. And then you always want to see Damon fight. I mean, come on, like, we haven't seen him fight yet in Tuba Vortex, so hey, I'm all for it.
And going back to the dynamic between Boruto and Kawaki shifting, I think that Boruto's karma will be the way that he's able to once again surpass Kawaki. But for both of these guys, Limitless Kawaki won't be enough to defeat JURA in the final battle, and just karma Boruto won't be enough to defeat JURA either. So after another shift in power dynamic between these two characters, Boruto's karma giving him the edge against Kawaki, they will both need a final power-up very reminiscent of the Sage of Six Paths mode between Naruto and Sasuke that allowed them to defeat Madara/Kaguya. And I think the power-up specifically will be for each character. Kawaki will get a Karma V3, and Boruto's will be the Jogon. And both of these power-ups
Karma
will help
V3
them
is
to
crazy.
be able to take down JURA. And subsequently, the battle on top of Hokage Monument will be a carbon copy of the final battle in Naruto Shippuden after they have defeated JURA. So without seeing the power of Limitless Kawaki directly, I can provide you guys with the narrative implications behind how strong Kawaki is actually going to be. But with that said, I do want to do some predictions on the additional powers that Kawaki might have after reaching this awakened state. But
okay, let's see.
Before I do that, I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comments down below. Will Kawaki without limiters look any different from before?
I do think he's gonna look different. And now I don't necessarily mean his hair's gonna change colors like Code, but I do feel like he's gonna start fighting with a staff. I don't know, that's just me. You know, he's gonna start fighting with a staff like ISSHIKI. I mean, his end game character model is him with a whole different fit and with a staff. Maybe some abilities he's gonna get will revolve around the staff. Maybe he's gonna shift his whole like fighting style like Boruto did. But you know, there's gonna be some differences for sure. I can't wait to see what that is. But to properly bring out or emphasize his newfound power, he's going to need a different fighting style. Most definitely. So, hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section too. Is he gonna get like a new character model, new abilities, do you think? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think.
Anyways, getting back to the discussion, Kawaki told Amado that not only must he change his way that Kawaki is coded to put all his defense into his offense, a bit like the Lakers, but also kit him out with as much ninja tech as Amado can fit inside of Kawaki's body. So Kawaki's main use with Amado's ninja tech thus far is the way that he's almost able to crystallize his blood or body to make weapons ranging from straight up a barrier to a blade. So maybe like we saw with Code, where the sheer amount of claw marks he could create was lower due to his limiters. Maybe the amount of rock, I really don't know what to call this, but you know what I mean, is lesser than if Kawaki's limiters were being removed. Or maybe just the strength of the rock is going to be higher after Amado makes these adjustments. As we saw that JURA was able to easily shatter this when Kawaki tried to use it to defend himself against him. So maybe to show this surge in power, the rocks will almost become impenetrable.
So boom, I mean, right off the bat, the abilities that he already has like Sukuna Hikona, Daikokuten, he's gonna be able to do more with that. And just more with his Kokugan in general. So maybe he's able to summon more chakra rods at a time. Maybe they move faster or something like that. Maybe he's able to spam more. There's a lot of possibilities. But new abilities, like abilities we have never seen before, I don't have any guesses on that one. I'm just gonna wait and see myself.
Also, Kawaki's rods are obviously going to be much faster now. Maybe even surpassing the likes of ISSHIKI's. And that's another thing that I need to discuss. Kawaki is actually just using ISSHIKI's power, so does it make sense for him to be able to surpass ISSHIKI's level of strength? And I think that the answer to that is yes. If you completely disregard defense, which ISSHIKI obviously was very strong defensively too,
he can definitely surpass ISSHIKI.
I think that makes sense for Kawaki to be stronger physically than ISSHIKI was, which basically puts him at a level of barrier mode levels of raw power, or just above there at a rough guess. And in terms of the new powers Kawaki may get, well, I think that comes down to the dojutsu which Kawaki has. As on one hand, there is a strong possibility that he could unlock the Byakugan, but I think that will instead come as a secondary awakening of the Karma V3, which I think will be Kawaki's final power-up, like I've already described. As the Karma V2 thus far has shown that it only takes the OTSUTSUKI's primary dojutsu, as Kawaki was only able to get the Kokugan, and Boruto, instead of getting the Rinnegan, was only able to get the Byakugan. Instead, I think Kawaki will actually utilize the other parts of this dojutsu that ISSHIKI had. Kawaki primarily uses the ability to shrink himself, other objects, or summon things from the Daikokuten realm. But there are seemingly 5 other abilities attached to this dojutsu, as it resembles a Dharma wheel, which has 8 separate paths, each representing different things.
So yeah, let me know what you guys think those abilities are. So obviously the extent of Kawaki's Kokugan has not been yet displayed in the series. It probably could do way more than it's shown to be able to do. So if you was to like make up an ability for Kawaki, an ability that makes sense for him, for his character, let me know what you guys think that's gonna be. And I'm talking real abilities, not just enhanced energy blasts like he already showed in the series multiple times. I'm talking real life abilities, like just make one up, completely make one up for him. It can revolve around Sukuna Hikona, it can revolve around Daikokuten, maybe he even gets a new Shinjutsu because Amado just gives him some of Shibai cells or something like that. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. And shout out to TF Anime for the dope video. I ain't gonna lie, I really enjoyed this one. Just to give everybody a clear insight on how strong Kawaki's about to be, because we are like, how many days until chapter 19 drops? Like less than 2 weeks. So yes, it's time to start talking about it. It's time to start talking about it. It's time to start getting content out on chapter 19. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And once again, TF Anime, the link to his channel is going to be down below in the description, so make sure you go show him some love. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comment section, and until my next one, I'm out. Peace.